Welcome to the Retro Life for You podcast, the only podcast for your retro needs. Chris and Travis will be covering everything 70s through 90s with a strong emphasis on the 1980s. That's right, each week they'll be coming at you out of the blue with new shows on music, movies, TV, toys, and more. So step into our time-traveling phone booth and dial that number 867-5309 and be instantly sent back to a better time and place. We'll be walking tall and having some good times and happy days, and if anyone tries to bring us down, we'll just tell them to beat it. And just when you thought the entertaining couldn't get any better and you wondered to yourself, how do they entertain us so well? Well, it's like my old friend Jack Bird used to say, it's all in the reflexes. So, Travis,
what's happening?
How's it going, man?
Oh man, it's going wonderful.
Just so
Excited
everybody,
about our show tonight.
great show. We're gonna have a good show.
No, yeah.
let's not start that again.
Yeah.
We're just gonna put this out there for everybody up front. This is our first show that we're doing live and on camera as we're recording. It's gonna go onto YouTube, so you may hear some things and references we say if you're listening to audio only that you may not get and understand. But this is still meant for audio as well. So
right.
Should be nothing that you won't be able to pick up on. And if you go to YouTube, you can watch and see how ugly we are while we go along and play and have fun. I mean, it's
there
awesome.
You go.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't change the name of the show to Two Bald Guys.
Don't think too badly of Travis. I mean, he's trying to get better. He's trying to look better. I mean, he's off to the side of me here, so maybe I'll reflect some goodness off.
It might pull a little bit on over in here. I don't know. Yeah, a little osmosis. I'll get some beauty through osmosis.
It's possible. But we have a fun show for you guys today. We're talking about iconic cars from the movies and television. Of course, our time frame, 70s, 80s, 90s. We cover all three decades. So we've got quite a few cars we want to talk about with you guys. So we're just going to jump right into it. And Travis, if you will, sir, please bring up car number one.
Let's go with car number one. Let's go with this fella. Does anybody recognize that guy?
Oh, that's a sharp truck right there, man.
He might fall from a tall building.
He might, or roll a brand new car.
He might do that.
I think he's referred to as the unknown stuntman.
Yes, I believe so. This is the Fall Guys 1980 GMC Sierra.
Now, was it 80? I can't remember. Was it 80?
It's different ones. At the beginning, it was 80. As with a lot of shows, it moved on to different things. So this is like a between 80 and 85 to rolling around in there. But where I looked it up, the original was a 1980.
Which was
the same year I was born. That's how I remembered it so well because I got all excited.
Yep, GMC 4x4 K25. Great truck. I mean, I would love to have one. I've seen a replica of one here recently online where somebody had put one together and had it on display at a car show. It was awesome.
Oh, heck yeah. Dude. And you know what I mean? Not that I'm a Ford guy of any way, shape, or form, but dude, an old square body 80s model Ford pickup truck, them are tough.
Yeah,
them things will climb a tree, son. I'm telling you.
But now, are you saying that the Fall Guy truck is a Ford truck?
I'm not. That's a GMC Sierra.
Were you saying?
But an old 80s model.
Oh
Ford.
my god!
The 80s model, any style.
Don't make me reach out to your cousin.
Yeah. Ray Chili Phillips
and get him on you about disgracing the Fall Guy truck.
Yeah, that's not. We can't be doing that.
You may as well have said that it had no emblem on the hood.
I know, and I just said it was a 1980 GMC Sierra.
Oh my god! I know you did. You just completely flipped on it. A little bit about the show. We're just sitting here talking about it and gushing about the truck. It was a really fun show to watch. Lee Majors played a stuntman named Colt Seavers. And you have his cousin Howie along with him. Do you remember his name was Doug something or other that played his?
I do not remember.
I think his name was Doug. And you had Heather Thomas that played Jody. She was also a stuntman or stunt woman, we should say. Stunt woman. And they had a great show. I mean, they also did bounty hunting on the side. Whenever there was no stunt work to be done, they were bounty hunters. So they went all across the country tracking down bail jumpers and everything. It was a fun show.
It was an awesome show.
Fun show. But that's car number one for us that we really like.
Car
And
number
I
one,
do have
GMC, not a Ford.
exactly. Thank you, Travis, for clarifying.
It was,
I do have,
but the Ford, Chevy, and GMCs all look the same too. If you go back to the 80s, you put the cars side by side and take the badges off of them.
I give you that. I will give you that. I will give you that. I'm not going to argue that at all.
Okay.
No. Let's go with number two.
Number two, as everyone else can see behind you, is the Coyote kit car.
Where do you see it?
I see it. You don't see it, but I can see it.
You
right
can
behind
see
your
it?
ear.
Oh, it is behind my ear.
I apologize. Let's give y'all a bigger shot of it.
Yeah, that's a nice shot right there.
Behind your ear.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, technical difficulties are taking over our first time doing video.
Absolutely.
Bear with us. You audio people
we're going to get
the
better
benefits of this.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
I do suggest to people listening to audio run to YouTube as soon as you can and see Travis's mess ups because he is controlling the board right now. I'm selling you out.
Absolutely.
Travis.
Yeah, sell me out.
Selling you out.
So it's right there. And now we can see it the entire time right there behind you too.
Well, it is. I have a picture for people who can't see right now. Behind me is a video that's got the Coyote car, the General Lee, the Batmobile, the Ghostbusters Ecto-1, the 18 van, wrong hand, 18 van back here, and the kit car right behind me as well.
And I was about to say the kit car, about to screw it up again, but the Coyote is a kit car that you can get these days. This was why I was about to call it the kit car. But the original Coyote is sitting on a Volkswagen Beetle frame, and it's got a Porsche motor in it. I believe the 914 motor in it.
Yeah.
So
can we get another look at the car?
Absolutely, we can.
Take one more look on the big screen there.
Yes.
I mean, that is a sharp. Look at all the. I mean, this just the curves on it, man. They get some crazy curves. It's just crazy curves.
And they based it. The cool thing too about it, they based it on the McLaren. Was it the F1? I can't remember. It's the old McLaren. So is the M6 GT. It was the M6 GT that they based it on. So yeah,
I mean, that was awesome a really cool
car. And the show, the way the car came about in the show was neat too. A character got killed. The main character, McCormick, one of the main characters, his friend built and designed this as a concept sports car. Well, he got murdered, and then McCormick stole the car. Well, Hardcastle was a judge, and he started working with McCormick in order to find the murderer of his friend. He let him keep the car. So the caveat to it was that McCormick had to work for Hardcastle chasing down bad guys.
Yeah, in the series, it was Brian Keith as the judge, Hardcastle. Judge Milton C. Hardcastle, to be exact.
Yes.
And Daniel Hugh Kelly starred as the ex-con and race car driver, Mark McCormick. Mark Skid McCormick, they called him.
Skid McCormick.
Skid. Hopefully that's because he...
Skid Mark McCormick.
Hopefully it's because he slid around on the racetrack.
Yeah, right.
I'm hoping that's the reason.
Well, yeah, one can only hope.
I know it did go for 3 seasons though, so it was a fairly popular show.
It was a cool show. I watched it with my dad a lot. As did a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, aired from September 18th, 83 up until May 5th of 86. So 3 solid years of the show was pretty good. And I mean, if you want just a good feel for what the show's about, you can go to YouTube and you can look up the video intro for Hardcastle and McCormick and see the Coyote car in action.
It's so awesome, man. And when it goes around turns, it's so tight. There's no body roll.
Yes.
Man,
it's slick.
I was a weirdo as a kid because everybody else is running around talking about the General Lee and Kit and all this and that. And I'm like, no, the Coyote is mine, dude.
Yeah, but have you seen the Coyote car? I had one. Not the Coyote car, but I mean, as I was a kid, I had, everybody collected the Hot Wheels and the Matchbox cars, right?
Absolutely.
I had a large plastic version of this Coyote car. I don't know if you recall the large plastic vehicles when we were kids you could get, roll them across the floor and drive your parents crazy because they won't step on them and bust their butts and everything.
Yep.
I used to take that thing to the playground where I lived, and I would sling that thing up the slide and watch it jump and fly off the slide, clear off to the ground to wherever it went.
Heck yeah.
So, a lot of good memories about that car, actually, for the Coyote and that toy in general and everything. What do we got for a third car here? The next one in line.
Since we were talking about the Coyote being built on the frame of a Volkswagen Beetle, No iconic
Whoa.
car show would be complete. And this
Uh-huh.
may be one of the famous ones we got without Herbie, man.
Herbie the
Gotta
Love
talk
Bug.
about Herbie the Love Bug.
Let's talk about number 53.
Number 53.
That's right. That was something that was a big part of our youth because Disney movies and everything.
Right. And in my area, Disney we would have the Sunday matinees.
Mm-hmm.
So Herbie was on a fair amount.
Herbie the Love Bug, Herbie Goes Bananas.
Yeah.
What was it? Was there another one? Was there a third one?
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4, and then they redid one, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s with the redheaded girl that got in so much trouble. Starts with an L. I can't remember. But yeah, there's probably
Lindsay
5 or
Lohan.
6. Thank you, Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan. I believe the original ones had the guy who was the father of My Three Sons, and he also did the original. Not the nutty Shaggy Dog. I think the movie was called Shaggy Dog. I can't think of his name though.
Professor was Van Dyke.
Yeah, that's why I stopped myself on that one. It was the Shaggy Dog. I can't think of his name though. So it seemed like his first name was Doug or Douglas.
Yeah.
But he was the father of My Three Sons, and I remember that from Nick at Night when he used to replay on there.
Oh heck yeah, yeah.
Herbie the Love Bug though. I mean, if you're gonna have a Volkswagen Beetle, you want it to look like Herbie the Love Bug.
No doubt.
And it wasn't really like the sharpest of cars.
No.
But
to this day though, the Volkswagen Beetle was the fastest production car off the line for the first 2 feet. That's a fact.
And those first 2 feet
look
matter.
that one up. Okay. They do.
Yeah.
100%. To answer your question a while ago too though, we've got from 1968 when Herbie came out. We're not going to discuss it too much. We know our timelines here, but his bigger movie, the rest of his movies came out from through the 70s into 1980. So we had The Love Bug, Herbie Rides Again, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, and Herbie Goes Bananas. And then after that was all of the other stuff that we had for Herbie. Old Herbie.
The only other iconic Volkswagen is what?
The only other iconic, but aside from Herbie?
Yeah.
You got me.
Bumblebee. I mean, come on. Man.
Okay, yeah. How can I not? Well, see, we're on live action movies. We discussed this beforehand that we weren't going to talk about cartoons, so that one didn't.
I watched the movie and it was on there. Now, granted, we don't talk about late 2000s movies on this show, but I watched it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he wasn't even called Bumblebee then either. Though they called him something else. Like his name back when he was a warrior robot.
I don't know. I give up. I tried everybody. I tried to slip a cartoon in. He caught me and he called me on it.
That's right. Yeah.
What's the next one, Travis?
So the next one is going to be the Ecto 1.
Ecto 1. We don't know what in the world this is. Is it a hearse? Is it a station wagon?
Yeah, this is a Cadillac. I do remember.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, as we were joking before, it's a Cadillac something.
Cadillac something.
Exactly what it was.
Something about that Cadillac. It says Ghostbuster on it.
Yeah. We're gonna look up as y'all caught me doing a while ago with our technical difficulties again. Look up,
Travis, one of these days you're gonna be Travis, you're gonna be well polished at this, and I'm not gonna.
I am. We're just getting started too, and this is our very first.
Or you're gonna put it on me and make me do it, and you're gonna laugh at me for a while.
Something's gonna happen. We're gonna take turns.
We're gonna take turns.
That way we know everybody's ready to go.
Hey, I tell you what you look at what you're looking for. I got a quick little story here.
Okay.
We have a buddy. You know, Ray was on the show with us, Ray Franklin. He does a podcast, he told everybody, with Rob. And Rob's one of our friends. And I listened to one of his podcasts that he has going on, which is similar to Ray's. And of course, everything was going haywire. You could hear the guys in the background. All I listened to was the audio. I didn't see the video. But it's going crazy because Rob apparently kept messing up the board. They said, Rob's in charge of the board tonight. Everything's going to be terrible, y'all. We apologize in advance. So, Rob, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I threw you into the bus. But the whole point is I'm sorry, everybody. Travis is working the board tonight. It's going to be all over the place.
It's going to be everywhere, man. But it's going to be entertaining. I guarantee you that. We'll keep it entertaining. We'll keep a smile on your face at the very least. So I found what I was looking for. Is the Ecto One was a 59 Cadillac professional chassis built by the Miller Meteor Company, and it was an ambulance / hearse combination. So their thought behind it, process behind it was it could be used either or. So hey, we'll take it either place you need to go. You know, it's the same vehicle.
And with the ambulance lights, they can zip through New York.
They can run right through there.
Wherever the ghost is at.
Right.
Because they weren't afraid of no ghost.
They wasn't afraid of no ghost. And you can see, even
weren't.
though this car's right behind you as well, I mean, you can see how there's plenty of room, and it's good old fashioned. Well, out there kind of shows you that it's Cadillac on the front.
Yeah.
Those big fins. I would chop the top on that and make it look like some kind of gangster vehicle, I believe.
You would.
I would.
You would. You'd be like rolling down the street in your Ecto One.
That's right. With my phasers on stun. All right. Well, we want to get on to our next iconic one.
Let's hit the next one. You go ahead.
Let's hit the next one.
We
got another one. Well, it's gonna be hard to get one that's not sitting right behind you. You got all the.
I don't have all of them. I mean,
you got a lot of them. So
look.
Let's see if we can go with one.
Listen, Travis, we got all the ones behind me, and we have some honorable mentions to go over. So
that's true.
We got some cars, and you guys won't see the honorable mentions on here. Obviously, we don't have. We're not going to dig up all those. There's too many to really dig up and everything. Right. But I mean, we do have some more to talk about. Regardless. Yeah. So
and as Chris said before we got on to the podcast tonight, we've had one of our past show. We had the King of the Splits versus the King of the Squints, and now we've got the King of the Stash.
Oh, the Stash.
Some of you would argue with me that it's Sam Elliott, but it's definitely Tom Selleck.
I refer to to him as several people. He is definitely the King of the Stash, but he's also the King of NYPD right now. He was a very special friend in the 90s for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched Friends on television,
yes, he was.
Kind of got a little resurgence there as Richard.
He was also didn't he help run off some bandits or something in Australia?
He had a
Range Rustlers.
He had a pretty good
Quickly Down Under.
Definitely, he had some good movies on a movie career there. I mean,
Quickly Down Under was an awesome movie.
Some good westerns. Crossfire Trail, I think, is another one he had for a western.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Quickly Down Under and a few others. Plus, he had some detective type movies based off of being a New York City detective, which plays off well, being that he's the commissioner on Blue Bloods.
He had a big run of those kind of movies too. It was like character that kept on recurring.
It is, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's okay because we're not really doing the shows or anything. If you want to look it up, you can.
Right.
But I mean, it does have a particular name for the character he did, and they were pretty good movies. Of course, Magnum PI. Based on while you're looking on that, I'll go over Magnum PI real quick. It was a fun show. He was a private detective. He drove that Ferrari. Was it a Ferrari 308?
Ferrari 308 QV GTSI.
Yeah, and it belonged to Robin Masters, who was the owner of the estate.
That one again.
Such a beautiful car, man.
It's awesome. Iconic with him too. Like that was. Yeah. I remember that was another show I remember watching with my dad, and I could care less about the show, but the car was awesome.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier. We were talking earlier about cars for honorable mentions and vehicles that had to do mostly with the show. Mm-hmm. And there was another particular show we'll catch up on in a little while for the honorable mentions on the vehicle. But I said I would even place TC's helicopter ahead of that car that's going to be into the honorable mentions.
Yeah,
because they use that helicopter in almost every show, or every other show, it seems like.
Right.
So I mean, Magnum lived on the estate of I said his name just a minute ago, Robin.
Yes.
Robin something. And I done lost his. It was in and out just like that, people. I got nothing holding this information in between my ears at all.
Right.
But the person was a writer, and you never see this person on the show. He had a personal assistant on the place named Higgins that took care of everything. And very fun show to watch back in the day. They did a remake of it here. I don't really care for the remake too much of Magnum. It's not quite the same. Like all remakes, they change things around, and it's just not quite the same.
Yes, it's like when they made another car that we talked about into a 302 Boss Mustang or something.
Yeah,
one that we're going to talk about.
We are going to talk about that in a minute. Yes,
yes,
and we'll bring that back up again because that was a disgusting to do.
But I'm going to use your mention of the helicopter into the segue to our next one.
Well, did you find the name of the guy that he was playing? Was it Jesse Stone, by the way?
Who? Oh, I believe it is. I wasn't looking that up. I was doing something different.
Okay, I thought you were looking that up. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I was talking Magnum, you're looking at the name of the character from his movies.
Yeah, I believe it is Jesse there.
I want to think it's Jesse Stone or Jesse.
I believe you're right. I believe that's. I'm almost 100% sure that's right.
But like we said, talking about helicopters.
Yeah, we'll save that for another show. So it's a toss-up. We've got 2 helicopters to talk about tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up my least favorite since I'm running the board, which would be
You're running the board.
which would be Blue Thunder.
Little Blue Thunder.
So Blue Thunder is a modified helicopter. This is also a real but fake helicopter. But man, the movie was cool as all get out. I had a buddy that I grew up with, and he wanted to watch that movie. He's like, every time we turned around, like, what movie you want to watch? Oh, let's check out Blue Thunder, man. I'm like, God almighty, dude. Like, we got to take a break off Blue Thunder, bro.
I don't think the TV show lasted that long.
No, I thought it was a movie.
I thought there was a TV show adaptation to it as well.
Oh, there may have been. Yeah, because after the movie, the film.
I'll tell you what,
TV show was made. Yep, it was.
Yep.
You're 100% correct.
The movie itself had Roy Scheider in it. For those of you who don't remember Roy Scheider, that's detective Captain Brody there from Jaws.
Oh, Captain Brody, yeah.
And also from Sequest. If you remember watching the TV show Sequest DSV, he was also on there as well. But the helicopter, back to that.
The helicopter was a French-made Aerospatiale. Aerospatiale. That's the name of the company. Whatever, however you're supposed to say that. It looks like aerospatial, if we were to say it with our accent. SA-341G Gazelle, and they basically it was a transport helicopter that carried like 5 people, and they took like the nose of it was rounded off, and then they took it and just chopped it up to make it look so. I mean, just to be quite honest, to make it look so mean and nasty, that thing looks disgusting. With
and I remember in the movie,
lines and turns and curves.
I remember in the movie they made it to where it had stealth as a part of it too. You couldn't hear it.
Yes. Yeah. You couldn't hear the helicopters.
It could be hovering over the city and running right in front of a window, and nobody would hear it out there unless they looked and seen them outside the window.
Right. Yeah. It was sick. It was awesome, but it couldn't compare to the other helicopter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Was that your favorite helicopter?
No, the other helicopter.
Because CBS
no one's favorite helicopter.
See, CBS had some sense. CBS come out and said, "No, we see your little chopper.
Yeah,
we raise you Airwolf.
We raise you Airwolf. Now, Airwolf, dude, such a superior helicopter and such a superior show, and the characters like Hawk. You wanted to be Hawk flying Airwolf, and this was a Bell.
Jan Michael Vincent, Ernest Borgnine.
Yep.
2 pilots for the helicopter.
And I can't remember what was the guy with the patch over his eye.
Remember? Oh, that was the guy that sent him on all the missions, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
I can't remember his name either.
We're
here for the vehicles anyway. So
I mean, now do you know a little bit about the Airwolf chopper itself? What it was set up to be like? Is it armored? Does it have any special weaponry about it? Oh my God,
it's got.
I think that one was set for stealth as well.
It's got everything. It's got like supersonic speed, so it could fly at the speed of sound or whatever. Like it was as fast as a jet. It had the doggone, had all the armor, the stealth capabilities. It had like laser tracking. I remember having like a laser beam where they'd shoot out of it.
Right.
That thing had so much stuff on it. That's why we were all like, well, which would win, Airwolf or Blue Thunder? It's like Airwolf, dude, every time. Come on, are you serious? Blue Thunder looked nasty because it had like the big machine gun out the side and all. But man, when Airwolf when it pulled up the wheels, let me get back to the photo. When it pulled up the wheels and was ready to go. I mean, they had a gun. You had a gun on Airwolf too, right here.
Yeah.
But that just looks so much sleeker. In reality, I don't think that the helicopter would outmaneuver or outrun it. The Bell 222 helicopter, I believe it was. Yeah, the Bell 222. It was like they used that for news stations and stuff too. But man, did they make it look cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yeah.
All right, so what do we got next here?
Well, next we'll move into something a little less known, a little less well known. It's the Dodge M4S Turbo Interceptor.
So we're moving to the movies now a little
to
bit.
the
more
movies
to the, more
now.
to the movies and television.
Yes, this was in the movie The Wraith with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I don't remember a great deal about that one. I did watch it. It's been such a long time, though. I'll be honest with you. It's one of those movies, Travis, where I forgot about it.
Right, right.
Not that it's a forgettable movie when you watch it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but there's just been so much come out since then.
Right, and it wasn't. I don't think even at the time it was enormous, but the car in it. When you see the car, you're like, I've seen that before. You know what I mean? Like, definitely. And
Right.
which is why I personally wanted to include it, because it was such a cool car. The movie was about Charlie Sheen showed up, and it's like this gang of street racers and thugs that terrorize the city, and it makes himself out to be like a supernatural entity, which is the Wraith, and he goes and takes care of the gang. So, but I mean, especially if you're into retro, man. If you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty cool. You should.
I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it if I can find it.
It's a cool movie, man.
Just so I can refresh my memory on how
Anything
it
with
went.
the
I know
Brat
I've
Pack in
seen
it
it.
back then was good too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Any members of the Brat Pack was awesome.
Yeah,
This was actually used as a pace car in Indianapolis.
was it
I
really?
believe too.
That's cool.
Sure enough.
A little tidbit of info.
A little tidbit there. But yeah, that was awesome. Let's get excuse me, I'm sorry, everyone. I got excited there for a second. I was going to say, let's get into one. I'm going to pop this one just up on screen, and without any kind of thing. Chris doesn't know what's about to pop up, but yeah, he was
Once
telling me
again,
about
I apologize. Travis is running the board. I take no responsibility for what he pops up on the screen.
He gonna have to take responsibility, because you're gonna love it. Because I know about the car, but I don't know about the car in the show. And Chris told me about it, and I was like, okay, now I got to go watch this TV show,
Automan.
And that is a Lamborghini Countach.
For anybody who does not remember Automan or did not watch Automan, ABC had an idea for a show, I guess, that there would be. I don't remember what they did to make him come to life, but something happened to where this entity from a computer came to life in front of this reporter. I believe he was a reporter, not a cop, or he could have been a cop of some sort. I think he was a reporter, though. Regardless, the guy came out, and he could make anything that he needed or wanted with a cursor that came out of his pocket. He would just simply call him, and it was called Cursor. He would say, Cursor, we need a car or whatever, and Cursor would get out, and it would make that Lamborghini. And that car would go through the city, and it would hug the curves like it's just like you're watching a video game like Tron. If you remember Tron, how it would go up, like it would go up and then hit you get the angle, the 90-degree angle. It just goes up, and it immediately makes the 90-degree angle turn. Immediately.
Right, no kidding.
There's no turning involved. It's just there, then it's sideways automatically. It's like going up, and then it's immediately like this.
Yeah,
it's going over, then it's immediately up again and going up that way. It's crazy. It make you. It's like oof, slow down. That's but awesome. It made a helicopter. Anything else that the man needed to have, it made, and it was usable stuff.
That's why
it was a crazy show. I don't even think it went a full season though.
Right.
It did not have enough fan base to really keep going. And plus, it was an expensive show to produce with what they had to go through to make it work. So, but the fact that the car is what it is, and it glowed like it did.
Right. That's wild. The fact that
it was really something else.
Looked like that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, we got one up next that sadly in today's age is a little bit of a controversial one, but nobody who's from back then really cares, because everybody loves the General Lee.
The General Lee, and
what an awesome photo of the General Lee that this person took.
It is great. The blurred background. It's in that nice little field there, Travis.
Right.
It just pops out in front of you.
Man alive. And we don't have any copyrights. This is straight off of a web search too. So we'll go ahead and give Wallpaper Cave credit for their photo that we're using at the moment.
Exactly. and I'm telling you, I mean, it's one of the best muscle cars that there was of all time. The Dodge Charger. This is a 69 Dodge Charger. They got the doors welded shut. the characters Bo and Luke Duke were wanting to be race car drivers,
Right.
and they drove this thing all over Hazard County, running from the law every episode. Always having Roscoe P. Coltrane on their tails.
Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Boss Hog telling him, "You get them Dukes."
Yeah.
So you got Roscoe, you got Enos, you got Cletus. I mean, you got all the funny redneck names out there in the world you could come up with. They put it on this show, I think.
And
But
as
it was one of
wholesome
the-
and good, as wholesome and good as
was.
the show was, they were running moonshine.
I don't. Well, no. The premise to the show was Uncle Jesse and them ran moonshine, but they had to promise not to do it anymore to keep the boys out of federal jail.
Yes.
So they're not
Yes.
running moonshine anymore. But something is always happening in this very small town in Hazard County. There's always something coming up.
That
and
Boss
they're-
Hogg's always trying to figure out some kind of way to. He's
Yes.
scheming to make
Schemes
his
to steal.
empire, and it's,
Exactly. And then, of course, you get his wife, Lulu Hogg. She wants what she wants, and he's trying to
Lulu
get it
Hogg.
for her. Although Lulu liked the Dukes and Boss didn't.
right.
And, of course, Enos was big on the Dukes because he was big on some Daisy Duke. I think we were all big on Daisy
I
Duke now.
believe everybody was big on Daisy.
We can talk about Daisy Duke the rest of the show if you want to. And I don't think anybody out there complain.
Exactly.
Catherine Bach, if you're listening to the show, we would love to have you on to talk
No
about
doubt.
Dukes of
Oh,
Hazzard.
my goodness.
Uh,
But yeah, and how many?
matter of
that
fact, I may just clip that part and send that to her on Instagram and say, "Hey, we would love to have you on the
we
show
would
to talk
love
Dukes
to
of
have you on
Hazzard."
the show for those Levi's or Wranglers.
We promise we won't. We promise we won't go all fanboy.
Right.
But yeah, that would be awesome. And let's just touch on the car a little bit. All right.
Yeah, and they destroyed
let's-
what? They just said they destroyed. Now this one I don't have right in front of me, but it seems like they said they destroyed like a minimum of 3 cars per show.
I forget how many, but there was a
It was.
ton
ton
of a ton of those cars. I don't remember if it was in the 200s they had.
Mhm.
They have the cars, they took quite a few of them on jumps for sure. I don't know if
Right.
they jumped every episode or not.
Yeah,
But
just about.
just about.
I mean,
every
I don't
episode they
remember
jumped
that
something.
episode with that it wasn't a jump going on.
Right, and then to kind of touch on the car a little bit. Back then, it wasn't as big of a deal in the world. The world was a different time back then. We're talking late 70s, early 80s at this point, 78,
Right.
79, all the way to about 84, I think, when they finally went off the air. But you got a 01 on the side of the car, like its race car number. But they've
Right.
got the Rebel flag on top of the car.
Right.
So in the South, even back then in the South, the Rebel flag was something that a lot of people held on to for heritage.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, you had some people who used it for hate as well.
Mhm.
And you can't really have it both ways. It's like saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
But I mean, some people ran this down for what it stood for back in the day.
Right.
It was used, whenever they had the Civil War as a battle flag, I believe, as far as the Rebel flag goes, it was a battle flag.
That
It wasn't. It
well,
wasn't.
we
the
can get into a
actual-
lot of it. This show ain't about that, but that's not
Right.
actually the battle flag. No.
Well, I mean, we're not going to get into it or anything, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
it was one of them. They had several. If you look it up, there's several variations of flags.
Right. Right.
And anyway, this was one that was put on the roof of the car. Well, today's day and age, people don't really think it's a nice thing to be displaying out there, and they don't want it seen. So
But- and
to have
then
it on
the
a
show,
car
too.
would be out just crazy.
Right, but then on the show too, it wasn't even about the war that and the things that happened. It was just about being
Right.
a rebel, which is what a lot of people held on to as it being part of the heritage. It's not about what happened. It's
And
about standing for being a rebellious.
And
Yeah,
the
we
car
could-
was called the General Lee.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, you had to have some tie-in with the General Lee. Well, with General Lee, I mean,
right.
because that's
Right.
what they called the car. So
Right. But if you watch the show, there's nothing like that about that going on with it.
this is one of the few shows that I remember back that I watched all the time that has like the wholesome family feel to it.
Yeah.
You had things like Little House on the Prairie, Waltons. Then you had Dukes of Hazzard. Well, it was action and it was funny at times. And it was funny. They also had scenes and moments on it that were kind of dramatic, and it was also like I don't want to say a life lesson kind of deal, but it would show you how everybody would and should get along with each other.
Right. Right.
And they promoted that kind of feel for the show, which is a great show. Great car. It's one of my most favorite cars of all time. if anybody has a diecast of it they want to give to me, you can send it to me, and I will gladly take it to go with my collection because I can't find one that is nowhere near reasonable to buy at this point in
Right.
time today.
Heck yeah.
Everybody wants like your firstborn and an extra $1,000 on top of it for the car.
Yeah. A lot of them are getting like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Even the old beat up diecast Hot Wheels are even pulling some, decent money. It could be
They
old
really
and beat up, and they want $50 for it. I mean,
Yep. No doubt.
Anyway,
No doubt.
I digress.
I digress.
Um,
Moving on.
moving on.
Or we could say we're back to the future.
Exactly. Back to the Future. What a nice little car. I bet those doors just pop right up on it, don't they?
They probably do. They like go. What do we call it? Gull wing.
And then the little
Not
things about
Lambo
this.
doors, but gull wing doors.
Yep. I mean, the DeLorean. Who would have ever thought of taking an AMC DeLorean to make a time machine out of it in a movie? I mean,
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to go with a more?
You did it. It's a
fancier
DMC.
car?
It's not an AMC.
Did I
it's a
say
DMC.
Did I say? Go back to that picture.
I got you.
Go back to that picture. I just pulled a Travis. Did I pull a Travis?
You did. It's sitting right in
It
front of me.
does.
That's why I had to call it out.
When I was looking at that picture, man, of course I'm old. My eyesight's going away. That D looks kind of like an A, and I'm like AMC.
It could
But
be.
I called what I seen. I saw
Because
like,
there's,
hey,
there's an
it's
AMC
not like
Javelin.
it's not like I got a Ford and a Chevy confused or anything. All right.
I mean, it is what it is.
GMC.
Yeah. I'll forgive you since the guy who, designed and built this machine did get arrested for doing heavy amounts of cocaine. So,
Well, dude.
The 80s. What else can you say?
It's like it wasn't the 60s. He don't remember it, but like he totally remembers the 80s and what he did with the car.
Yeah, right. This one, how iconic is this though? Like
the DeLorean. Where would you go to if you were given that car to go one place one time?
Oh wow, we could do a whole show on that too. Where would I go?
Where would you go?
Back to the Future.
I mean, there's plenty of places we'd want to go, but off the top of your head, if you could just throw one out there that you would go to,
Can it be completely crazy?
I don't care as long as it isn't Tatooine. You can't go to Tatooine.
Okay.
That's not real.
That's not real.
It's not real, man.
I believe I'd probably go back and you can roll the dice. People forget about how bad Stalin was, but I'll just go with Hitler. I probably roll back and do some. I probably just put a boot to his neck when he was.
Is this kind of like one of those Avenger things where they talk about going back for Thanos and just
Yeah, why don't you just yeah.
First of all,
if not that, then I would go back and I would go back and see my grandma or something. You know
okay,
what I mean?
so okay, so your grandma, that's awesome right there. That would be awesome. I was gonna say, let's say not to go back and change time or anything because you're not supposed to change time. Remember,
that's right.
I'm
fooling with the paradox. All right, so if I can't change time, I guess I'd like to go back and just maybe have a good old home cooked country dinner, Southern dinner with my grandma.
Right. That's so you know what? There's nothing I can say that can top that one. I'll just automatically feel bad for anything I say now. Because my grandma's looking down at me right now going, you better say my name.
You better say my name, boy.
You're coming to see me.
All right.
It's funny. I ain't going to get into this. Never mind. That is hilarious. So
we'll just say we'd both go have dinner with our grandmas.
Exactly. Yes. We're going to stick with that. That's the best answer we could do right there.
I love it.
If you could have if you could have chosen a different car, would you have chosen a different car?
What, to make the DeLorean out of?
No. What to make the time machine out of? Would you have taken something? Something other than a DeLorean? Would you have chosen something different?
Totally. I might have chose one of the most BA cars I think of all time, and put it in it. I might have chose something like that.
You know what? That's a perfect segue to where I thought we should go next anyway. Because
wonderful.
I mean, you stole the show right there like a bandit.
There you go.
Man, I tell you.
Heck yeah. They thirsty. They thirsty.
Man.
Why you need so much beer? Because he's thirsty.
Because they're thirsty in Texarkana.
One of the greatest movies of all time, and one of the daggone most awesome cars of all time, no, without a doubt.
The Bandit car, man. The
6.6 liter. Ooh,
fast.
that thing's gross.
Fast. Outrun every cop there is, and then some.
Telling you, rip the tires off of it, smoke the tires off till they're nothing. Man. So who are we having there? We had Buford T. Justice, the great Jackie Gleason.
Barbecue you in the county jail.
That's right. we had Bert.
What was his son's name? Is that his son, Bert? Is that who it was?
They just called him Junior.
He called him Junior
all the time. Yeah.
That's such a Daddy, I got him, Daddy.
One of my favorites is a low-key moment. They stop at the truck stop. He said, "You want anything, Junior?" And he's like, "Some French fries, Daddy." He said, "We don't got no time for that."
I'm like,
dang, boy, you gonna ask him if he wants something to eat and tell him no.
When the boy says something, he goes, I believe more and more every day you're your mama's son and not mine.
Yeah, he said, "There's no way, no way you come from my loins. When I get home, I'm gonna kick your mama in the butt."
That's it. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, there's so many
the first one,
man.
Talk
Talk about stealing the show, man. Jackie Gleason he was everything in those movies.
Yes, and the first Smokey and the Bandit was the best, and the third one was kind of a joke. But I mean,
yeah, for sure.
1 and 2 was okay, but first
nothing against Jerry Reed though, because I love Jerry,
but he's not the Bandit though.
No.
All right,
he's a snowman. He need to stay in the truck and be the snowman.
Exactly, with Fred.
With Fred. Yeah.
With Fred. That's right.
I don't believe Fred bit you, mister. Fred don't eat grease balls.
And he did bring out one of the best songs on the movie soundtrack.
Oh, of all time.
Like that with Eastbound and Down.
No doubt.
So
if y'all haven't seen it, I don't know where you live in to not have seen Smokey and the Bandit, but if you haven't seen Smokey and the Bandit,
rock.
Yeah, y'all need to go see. Y'all need to. You need to watch Smokey and the Bandit for sure.
Burt Reynolds, Sally Field.
Yes, yeah. That's why we didn't even get done running down all the people.
No, you didn't get the names.
It's loaded with people.
Burt Reynolds is the bandit. Sally Field is the runaway bride. He ends up picking up and taking off with him. Yeah, that's why you got Buford T. Justice chasing him, because he's got the bride of his.
Junior was going to marry Sally. Yeah. Oh man, what a great movie! What a great movie!
Yeah, we can go all night on that one too. So many different things, man. Ted, there's so many different shows coming up. That's just we got so many things to talk about. So we got done the Bandit car. What's coming up next?
Yep. So I'm trying to say what I think is the best for last. So we'll move on to one that people kind of forget about until you go to talking about it, and that's Mad Max's Ford Falcon.
Sharp car. There
is a lot of argument over it. I've heard so many people argue over this car. It's an AMC and it's a daggum Thunderbird and this and that. No, this is a Ford Falcon. Promise y'all. And what a nasty car it was. You remember, doggone, get on there and he'd flip the doggone switch, and then it got that big old supercharger sitting right there.
Yeah.
When he kicked that thing on, oh my gosh. And he ran down the daggum people that killed his family, went and got him. Mad Max, awesome movie.
Is that why he was mad?
It was mad. It was mad because it was actually kind of rough, man, especially back then. Like, because this motorcycle gang, if y'all hadn't seen Mad Max, the motorcycle gang or the Road Warrior, there's a motorcycle gang.
Road Warrior, right? Mad Max.
Yes, and it was one of his earliest roles as well.
I believe so.
The motorcycle gang come through, and his son was in the middle of the road, and now they did it on. It wasn't like accidental, like they did it on purpose. They run his son down in the middle of the road, and his wife too, I believe. Didn't she go out there to pick him up or something?
Man, it's been so
long. A long time since
so long. Don't get me lying to you. It's been too long.
Right. Then in the second one, you had Tina Turner, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Now, was there?
was a third one, wasn't there?
No, third one was Beyond Thunderdome, wasn't it?
Maybe it was. Yeah.
It was wasn't it the Road Warrior? Then there was Mad Max, and then there was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, or something along those
That's
lines.
what it is. That's what it is. It's Road Warrior, Mad Max, and then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
Thunderdome had Tina Turner in it.
And then the new one out with Tom Hardy, I think they did a really good job at recreating the car too. So
Yeah.
so heck yeah. And then what I think is
Well, now, hold up now.
okay. We're gonna keep going.
You want to try to go to your most you said what you think's the best of all time.
Yes,
If you want to do that, you want to save it for last, right?
right.
I do believe there's a certain van we haven't touched on yet.
Did we not?
We not.
How did we not get that? I thought we did. I had it pulled. You know what?
Just-
I had it. I was gonna go to it, and then we segue into the Smokey and the Bandit.
See,
That's
this
what
is why
happened
this is why we can't have nice things, Travis,
know,
because you
I
mess
know.
things up all the
Because
time.
my
man.
ADD gets all crazy. So
I know,
thank you for
and then
pulling me
you-
back in.
And then you jump from like point A to point Z, then back to the letter M, and then you
But
just
That's the
I
80s.
forgot the B.
That's the 80s. You know, I hung out with Robert Downey Jr. in the 80s. He was a different RDJ than y'all are these days.
He was a different everything back then.
So there it is.
Man, there wasn't an iron about him.
Nothing iron. Nothing
Nothing at all.
iron.
The 18
But I
van.
pity the fool. that
Pity
would
the
forget
fool.
I pity the fool that would forget about his van.
That's right. What kind of van is it?
That's
A
iconic.
1983 GMC Vandura.
Endura.
Now, there was a little argument over this van.
Okay.
A little controversy, we'll say. It's kind of like one of those things that me and you talk about, joking around sometimes, about how you said the Karate Kid's bandana was red, and I told you it was white.
Yeah.
Okay, this van. I think it changed during the series.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, though, that I was wrong. It was the same the whole time. I think at one point it was completely black with the red pinstripe going up to the spoiler on the back of it.
You know what? I want to agree with you on that one.
But somebody else told me that no, it was always two-tone, gray on black with the red stripes separating the colors going up
Yeah.
to the thing about it, to the spoiler.
I could
said,
go
no.
either way. Because the Karate Kid thing, which is for a different show, I'll just touch on it real quick. It wouldn't make sense for it to be the Rising Sun because Mr. Miyagi told him that the Lotus Flower was the flower of his people in Okinawa. But I still remember, I thought that happened in the second movie when he went and got the bonsai tree and everything. I didn't think.
Well, and
Whatever.
it is possible, though, that it was both. If you remember, that van got destroyed a couple of times on the show.
Very true. Very true.
So, and I know BA could build anything he wanted on the show.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take an old GMC and you put that big old brush guard on the front of it, paint the rims red, and throw a red stripe on it, it's going to look like the 18 van to me anyway.
Yeah, and I have a Hot Wheel version of the 18 van, and it is completely black with a red stripe.
Oh, so you have proof.
So I have proof at one point it was at least all black at some point. I
Yep.
think in the show, however, I think it was too. But this other guy's telling me in the show it was only the two-tone, and they had released it differently on Hot Wheels as a variant or something. Now, I don't know. I seem to remember a few of the shows where I think it was all black.
I swear, I thought it was all black too, and I don't remember it being like the photo that I showed. This particular photo here,
Mhm.
I believe the photo that is behind you is more correct too. And I remember it being two-tone. I remember it being silver, not dark gray.
And that's what I'm saying. Look at that two-tone color of it on the picture behind me versus the
Right.
one you had up. It's a darker gray
Exactly.
versus and that's either a lighter gray or it's a silver, like you said, one of the 2
Mhm.
on the one behind me.
Right.
So
right.
I can't really make up for sure which it is. It's one
Yeah,
of the
that'd
two.
be a good one to look into. I had to do some big research on that one.
Yes. Now, I know we don't have. Well, we're going to do the one that you said was that you thought was the best. So let's go ahead and touch on that one, and then we're going to touch on some of the honorable. I'm just going to throw some honorable mentions out there. We won't really discuss them, but we'll give the mentions of the vehicles to make sure they're out there and people know of them.
Well, if anybody's keeping count, I'm sure you've probably narrowed it down to which one's next. I can't believe I almost missed the 18 van. I thought we covered it, but hey, we're getting older. We're bald.
Well, I mean, it's right behind my bald head right there. I mean, I
It
didn't
is.
even touch on the van yet. Come on, man.
I know. But here's the Fiesta de la Resistance.
Oh, the ninth industry too. Boy, that was terrible. I'm telling you, the sound in my ear you just made just in, and that microphone was awful.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's because that's closer. That's a little better.
I
The,
might
Ni-
have got a little too
the,
close
the
to it.
Night Industry 2000 kit, if you will.
Yes.
Awesome car. I mean, it's got an alloy made out of it. It's not metal. It's not fiberglass. It's bulletproof. It can't be destroyed. It basically can drive through a concrete wall and not get a scratch.
Yes.
It's got microchips all throughout the car that run everything, including the
Everywhere.
voice modulator of Kit himself, which changes voices if he needs to,
Yeah.
because he can modify his voice and sound from wherever he's from, like a New York
Right.
accent, a redneck accent, or
Michael. But our
Yeah.
favorite is Michael.
exactly that we like
Michael.
the British sound to him, don't we?
Absolutely.
Makes me want
Absolutely.
a tea and crumpet or something. I don't
Just
know.
because, and we were talking earlier about how they tried to redo it. Just
Yeah.
because we had to see this eyesore, so does everyone else.
Oh my gosh.
Why
did they do that? Why did they do that?
Quick one. That's how they tried to redo it. Come on, man.
Do you remember the Knight Rider 2000 as a television
That
movie?
was the one. That was the one where he was in a old Chevy, wasn't it?
Yes, like an old Bel Air.
Yeah.
I think it was. He took Kid's computer with his voice and everything and put it in the Bel Air where the radio and everything would go.
Yes. Yes.
Now he didn't have everything else that the Night Industry 2000 car had, but he had Kit with him in the car, the voice and everything. But they also had a red car that they were making supposedly into the new Knight Rider at the time. And I don't think they ever went through with it.
That was a play on the new Firebird. I believe that's what it looked like.
That may have been it.
Yeah. Yeah, they never went through
And
it.
the only thing that was neat about that one that the Kit car didn't have was it had on the windshield everything laid out on the windshield, like you could see everything going across in front of you on the windshield.
Right, that was it, because here is an actual AMT model of the Knight Rider 2000. So they had an AMT model of it.
All right.
But it never went through.
Yeah.
And I can't find the one of the old Bel Air, but that was pretty cheesy when they did that. Everybody was like, "What are you doing?"
It was kind of funny in a sense. I mean, he had quit the foundation. He wasn't doing this no more.
Right.
And he come back, and when he found out he wasn't getting Kit back in the car, he didn't want to do it. So he went and dug out everything he needed for Kit and put it in that Bel Air. It was awesome.
Right.
But the car itself, back to Kit itself. I mean, turbo boost. What do you call it when he hits the accelerator? Pursuit mode. He's got pursuit mode.
Yeah, pursuit mode. He had GPS before we knew about GPS.
Exactly. He could drive it. He could drive the car himself.
He had us taking hacksaws and cutting our steering wheels to where it was just like a little
the front of the steering wheel. Yeah. He had the seat ejector that will propel you up and out to a different.
Didn't at some point he had like the oil slick that he could do?
That was from the get go. That was from the get go.
Okay,
yeah, oil slick, smoke screen.
Anything any James Bond ever car could do.
He could. He had something where it would read out and around and abouts and everything, and just read things that they there's people over here, people over there. I think it had night vision on it at some point for something. It was just had everything you could need and want.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think they equipped it with some sort of a small missile like deal. Whenever they had a
grappling hook.
Yeah. So like whenever they had the thing with Goliath on there, the big truck, I think that's where they equipped it with the missile launchers.
Yeah.
For it. So the movie, the TV show itself was just so great. It was fun to watch. It's on Netflix if anybody wants to get back familiar with it again. I was telling Travis I was watching it just last night. So it's a fun old show to watch. I mean, the car is just one of my favorite cars of the 80s. If I had to choose a car of the 80s, I've had it narrowed down to the General Lee, to the Knight Rider car.
Right.
And to the DeLorean, because I mean, who don't want to travel through time? But I mean, at the same time, if let's say time travel is not possible, and you're going by looks of the car, and the whole Kit thing wasn't possible because you're going on the looks of the car, Yeah, it's kind of a tight race between the Kit Car and the General Lee.
Right. Yeah, Kit was so awesome. And at the time too, like I said, Coyote's always been my absolute favorite based on looks alone. But nothing beat Kit. Your car talking to you, and like nothing beat that.
Right.
That was
Right.
awesome. Even with all the stuff that he had extra too, because it's like he wasn't just a robot talking to you. Like this was a sentient being in the machine. This was the ghost in the machine talking to you. This was your friend, and he had
Right.
AI. He had consciousness and stuff.
Right. And he
awesome.
had right. He wanted to show off for you. He had
Yeah.
he had hurt feelings or something sometimes. Or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
This is crazy. But well, we're at that point in the show. We're getting close to the end here, Travis.
Mhm.
We're at I want to say about 55 minutes into the show.
Right.
I want to go over a couple of honorable mentions.
We want to tell them why we didn't say anything about that one car behind you.
The one car behind me is the Batmobile we didn't touch on because the Batmobile from the TV series is from the late 60s. Went from 66 to 68, I think. So when you think Batmobile, that's one of the most iconic because it's the TV show, the original TV movie in 66, or maybe it was a theater release. I forget which it was. When you look back to the old cartoons of Batman, that was the version of the car they had as well.
Right.
But we say Batmobile as an honorable mention because in the 90s,
yes,
you had Michael Keaton and
Val
Kilmer. Exactly. We had the versions of Batman on there with
Mhm.
a more updated car, we'll say, that does not look nothing like the original.
Right. But the Michael Keaton car was spectacular.
Yes. It was nice. Definitely. So we also have honorable mention Miami Vice, the Ferrari Testarossa. That you had Don Johnson's character I think he was Sonny Crockett. He was the one driving that one.
Crockett. Yeah, Crockett and Tubbs.
Right. Honorable mentions, there was a 76 Ford Mustang Cobra 2 that was driven by Jill Monroe from Charlie's Angels. A white one with blue stripes, sharp car.
Nice.
You had the Ford Gran Torino on Starsky and Hutch.
Yes.
We debated on whether to put that on the cars we talk about the most because it was a part of the show and widely remembered by everybody. It was referred to by the something tomato, the
Rotten Tomatoes.
No, not Rotten Tomatoes. One of the characters on the show referred to it as the big red tomato or something.
Yeah.
I forget which one of them it was, but one of them did that. You had the Kawasaki KZP motorcycles by none other than Chips.
That we debated that one too.
We did. We debated
it in there, but then
he did want it. But I mean, there were so many other things like helicopters and police cars, and it just didn't seem like the show focused on the motorcycles as much as it did Ponch and John.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the criteria that we laid down for it. Like if the show was like about those things, you know what I mean? So it's like the ones that we mentioned, like you couldn't have the show without the car. We could have stuck anything in Starkey and Hutch and it would have been fine. You could have stuck the guys on any kind of motorcycle. It would still been the same show. But if you took any of those other cars that we mentioned away and put something in its place, I can't see it being the same.
Right. And then we got to give you an example, we get the Pontiac Firebird from Rockford Files that Jim Rockford, which was James Garner, drove in it. He was a private detective too. Show based on there. In the 80s, there was a show called Stingray based on a 65 Corvette Stingray. Yeah. Awesome car. But
absolutely. I mean, used to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, we just, when it comes to narrowing things down, boy, these are based on our favorites too, though, by the way. So the ones that we talked the most about were probably the ones that are mostly our favorites growing up and watching the movies and everything. Right. In the Dukes of Hazzard, you also had a Jeep that was Daisy's Jeep, that had Dixie written on the hood of it. She got this Jeep only after they ruined her. I want to say it was a Plymouth Roadrunner, wasn't it? Or
I believe so.
I think so. Plymouth Roadrunner. They drove it over the side of a cliff where it lost its brakes or whatever, and they couldn't stop, and it went over the side of a cliff, and that was gone. We also wanted to touch on and bring in the Kenworth K100 Aerodyne, which was the big rig from B.J. McKay and his best friend Bear. The red and white trailer, the red rig. That's iconic for tractor trailers and everything from television shows and everything. So that was always great.
And what was the other one? What was one that I mentioned? We were Hunter and his big old brown thing, and then
Is
we had
the
Didi in the Dodge Daytona Turbo.
yeah, and Hunter, you had Didi McCall's Dodge Daytona Turbo, and Hunter and the big old. I believe he referred to it as Dookie Brown,
Yeah,
Plymouth Fury or something
Fury.
like
Yeah,
that.
it was a Dookie Brown Plymouth Fury.
I did take another step back in the 70s. There was the Ford Thunderbird, 57 Ford Thunderbird convertible driven by Robert Urich as Detective Dan Tana in Vegas. So quite a few cars over the decades that were from TVs and movies that were fun. And I will guarantee you, if you've been listening to this show tonight, you're going to get off now and you're probably going to look at other cars. You're going to find cars that we did not mention, talk about, and bring up. And, honestly, we've only got so much time. So we try to keep the show as close to an hour as possible. And we're sitting on 59 minutes and 45 seconds as we speak. So,
right.
Travis, I think what we'll do here, we'll go ahead and take a little pause while we go ahead and play our social media for people. We got a little recording we made for that now,
right,
to let you know what we got. So we're gonna go ahead and play that. Take a listen to it here, please, of course. We do hope you guys have had fun listening to the show, and look forward to you coming back to the next show with us. We're going to be doing video from this point forward along with our audio. If you prefer the audio, then you can get us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google, anywhere you listen to your podcast at. You can get our audio there. We definitely encourage you to subscribe to it. As he said earlier, leave us a nice little rating there. 5-star would be great. Leave us some comments, good or bad. We take them all.
That's it.
So that being said, Travis, we can go ahead and work our way out of here, and I'll see you next show.
Yes, sir. Y'all be sure to join us next time. We're going to have a great show for you again, too. All we do is great shows.
Yeah. We're out of here.